Now, the government's being accused of military propaganda in schools. The human rights group ForcesWatch says the way the armed forces and war in general is portrayed in the classroom is biased and should be withdrawn. Well, our reporter Sarah Lockett is with me now. What is the objection, Sarah?
Well, ForcesWatch is a broadly pacifist or anti-militarist organisation that promotes non-violent alternatives to war and also military recruitment. And today they've joined forces with the Quakers to criticise the way that children are taught about the armed forces in schools in England. Now, specifically what they don't like is the resource which is called the British Armed Forces Learning Resource 2014, which was produced by the Office of the Prime Minister in September last year, and it's promoted by the Department for Education in all schools in England. Now, it's a resource for history, English and citizenship, and ForcesWatch have produced a video animation to go with their calls today. So let's take a look at it.
The British Armed Forces pack fails to support critical thinking and questioning. For example, referring to the golden thread of the military, improving everything it touches. In his foreword, David Cameron tells readers they should be profoundly grateful for what the military do and hopes it will begin their interest in Britain's armed forces, the finest and bravest in the world. With unwitting irony, a subsequent lesson asks students to look at propaganda.
So, Sarah, the Quakers are involved in this, you mentioned.
Yes, they obviously object to war and look for non-violent ways of solving conflicts. And what they've said is that this looks and feels like a recruiting brochure for the armed forces, but that's not their only objection.
Leaving recruitment aside, there are other reasons it's troubling to see such a document put into schools. It's educationally inadequate, and it's one-sided in its depiction of the military. For a start, it claims to help teach children as young as 5. Even leaving aside the subject matter, the reading age of the text is 13. It aims to support teachers of history, English and citizenship, but the lesson ideas range from the standard learn a war poem to the chilling devise a plan for how to go to war.
Well, Sarah, there is a legal requirement, isn't there, to keep a one-sided presentation of issues out of the classroom. So does this document do that or not?
Well, ForcesWatch says no. The group says this is the kind of resource that you get in countries where education is used by governments to manipulate citizens into an uncritical attitude towards the state. They say that this blurs the lines, which should be kept separate.
The 1996 Education Act says that schools should present balanced views of political issues. But the booklet doesn't differentiate between fact and opinion and presents only positive views of the military. History is a recitation of victories winning freedom. So-called nuclear deterrence has saved millions of lives. Arms companies boost British industry. Recent conflicts were about protecting the peace, with Iraq and Afghanistan barely mentioned, and nothing about the accompanying destruction, public opposition and torture.
So, Sarah, any reaction from the MOD to this?
Not so far, although this was produced by the Office of the Prime Minister, but we'll follow up on that today.
Sarah Lockett, thank you.